Hey everyone, welcome back to Le Mans Ultimate for what is my best chance yet of a podium finish in the GT3 class. It's an all McLaren affair at Spa today and I'll be giving it 2 attempts. You're going to see highlights of both races, which includes one of my best ever battles, but also some of the worst behaviour I've ever seen on track. We'll talk more about that when we get there, but for now, let's get down to action for the start of race 1. We've got 24 on the grid and I'll be starting from P4. Can I get that elusive podium finish?
Green flag.
Here we go then, the lights are green and we are underway for 20 minutes at Spa, and this is the furthest forward I have qualified in quite some time on LMU, alongside Fabio Nussbaumer on the second row of the grid. Now, Nussbaumer had the inside line from that P3 starting position, so I had to give him a little bit of space. It has opened up a gap for Angel Podadera to try his luck. However, I have got the run on him coming down the hill, so I'm going to hold on to this 4th position as we hit Eau Rouge and Radion for the first time. Oh, but look at Podadera. He was much faster through that section, and now he is going to attack again, coming down the Kemmel Straight. Now, I will have the inside line for this upcoming right-hander. Whether it'll be enough, I'm not so sure, because Podadera is carrying some real speed. He's got half a car length's advantage, gets to the apex first, and so does Kivan Charslan. And it's going to get even worse because Simone Catano is capitalising as well. Catano forces his way through, so all of a sudden I've dropped 3 positions, P4 down into P7. Well, I was half expecting to lose a spot to Podadera there. I wasn't expecting it to be a triple whammy. Now Podadera, Arslan and Catano all in front of me. So yeah, I've been really weak on this opening half lap. I need to toughen up and I need to do it fast. Otherwise, I'll only be going one way because I've now got Alexander Podvishenko breathing down my neck. I need some composure and I'm not finding it through Pouhon. That was a terrible line. I'm losing visible ground now on the pack of cars in front. Meanwhile, in the rearview mirror, Alexander Podvishenko is getting closer and closer. Meanwhile, at the front of this pack ahead, Mikel Navne is leading the way. Navne started in pole position. He's holding on to the race lead. In fact, the top 3 all maintaining their starting positions. Navne in first, Daniel Cavelli in second, and Fabio Nussbaumer in third. Now, in qualifying, I was only 1/10 slower than Nussbaumer. He boasted a 2:22.1. My qualifying time was a 2:22.2, so there's not much between us. However, at the moment, he seems like a long, long way away. Meanwhile, the 2 drivers on the front row were the only 2 to get into the 2:21s. Navne and Cavelli, I expected them to make a break for it. I wasn't anticipating being able to keep up with them, but I was anticipating being able to fight for that 3rd and final podium position. At the moment, that does look somewhat optimistic. However, we do get a little bit closer as the pack concertinas together through the final bus stop chicane. However, look at that gap. It's 1 second to Catano in front of me in P6. However, it does look like it's getting a little bit spicy in La Source there. Podadera having a lunge up the inside of Arslan. Meanwhile, Catano having a lunge up the inside of Podadera. There was a bit of contact. It looks like Podadera was the biggest loser there. He's dropped 2 positions down from P4 to P6. And I am a little bit closer as we hit Eau Rouge for the second time. 0.6 of a second now. A big mistake in front. It looks like we've lost Arslan. Podadera also caught up in it. So that is 2 positions gained straight away. And I may get a 3rd because Simone Catano had to back right out of that one to avoid getting tangled up too. And that final overtake may have been a little bit naughty on my part. I think the yellow flags are out, but I was committed to the pass. I was full throttle down the Kemmel Straight and I'm back up into P4. Let's go back and check out the replay to see what happened there. I wonder, did Arslan lose it on his own or was he helped into the barrier? Well, it looked like he lost it on his own there. It is tough to be sure from that camera angle, so I think we're going to need to ride on board with Simone Catano to see if there was in fact any contact. And no, there wasn't. Look at that rear. It was already stepping out as he went up the hill. And yeah, Arslan spins out spectacularly there. And it was great avoidance work from Catano. I did well to avoid it too. However, the driver behind me, Alexander Podvishenko, wasn't so lucky. He was spooked by the incident and lost control spectacularly at the top of the hill. Well, unfortunately, that was as action-packed as this race got. For the next 8 laps, I was able to chase the top 3, gradually pull away from all the cars behind me. However, this was as close as I ever got to the leading 3. I was always 1 second back. I was never close enough to make a challenge, and I had to settle for 4th place. The podium just a little bit beyond me here. However, look how close we are as we cross the line. Navne takes the win, Cavelli in 2nd, Nussbaumer 3rd, and me in 4th. The 4 of us separated by just 1.1 seconds. And look at my fastest lap as well, a 2:22.1. It was really competitive enough to challenge any of those 3 drivers in front of me. So I've certainly got the pace for a podium here, and that's why I'm so keen to go back and give this race another try. Now, after qualifying, I thought this one was going to be far harder because I was only able to put it P8 on the grid. However, a real stroke of luck on the formation lap. 3 of the top 4 are not going to make the start of this race. Pole position driver Don Bridge, Kebs Estra in P3 and Art Daver in P4. All 3 of them have gone AWOL as we get ready for the lights to go green for race 2.
Green flag, green flag.
Here we go then, and an unlikely second opportunity to fight for a podium. I didn't think it was going to be on the cards after qualifying when I saw that I was down in P8, but yeah, an incredible slice of luck to lose 3 of the top 4 drivers before the lights have even gone green. So what was P8 is now effectively P5. And as we exit La Source, it is very much as you were as far as the top 5 are concerned. Brett Rees had the front row to himself. Rees is leading this one. And then we've got Zubair S in 2nd position, Georgios Kurtos in 3rd, Michael Sienkiewicz in 4th, and me in 5th. Now, in the first race, I got properly schooled on this opening lap, so I don't want the same to happen again. I'm going to have to be a bit more firm and forceful to hold on to this opportunity. I close right in on S in front now. There's a big accident in the rear-view mirror, a huge cloud of smoke and at least 1 car departing. Yellow flags are out, but look at the gap behind now. 1.5 seconds back to the driver in P6. And that is a delight to see because it means I'm not at any risk at the moment of being beaten up like I was in race 1. Let's go back and check out a quick replay of that incident at the end of the Camel Straight. And it was Scorpion Dutch in the red McLaren who we lost. Dutch qualifying in P11 on the outside, 3 wide into that right-hander. And as we see there, 3 into 2 just don't go. Riding on board now with Daniel Salinas. Salinas was stuck in the middle of this one. He just gets squeezed as the space disappears. And there we see Dutch exit in stage left. But yeah, Daniel Salinas and Andrew Glegg both survived that one, and you can see them behind me now in P6 and P7. However, they are more than 1.5 seconds behind, so I'm under no pressure in the rearview mirror as we end this first lap. I'm right on the tail of Zubair S. So yeah, all in all, a far more encouraging opening lap than the first race. I'm looking good here. I'm in contention, P5, and I know I've got the pace to challenge all of these guys in front of me. Possibly not Brett Rees leading the race. Rees may make a break for this one. He's already got a couple of seconds on the rest of the field. But yeah, P2 and P3 are very much up for grabs here. And it was lap 2 at Eau Rouge during the first race that I picked up 3 positions because of a wreck in front. Am I going to be lucky enough for history to repeat itself? It looks like I am. Mikhail Sienkiewicz crashes out and he took a big wallop from Zubair S on his way. And that is going to cost S a load of speed down this Camel Straight. There may be an opportunity for a second position here. I've pulled alongside S. I'm going to have the inside for this right-hander. Can I get the job done? Yes, I can. I get to the apex first, and I take that 3rd position. So I am now in the podium places. Well, the big question is, can I hold on to it? Well, we're only at 1/4 race distance. There is a long way to go. But let's see what happened to Mikhail Sienkiewicz. Oh, he was unsettled on that inside curb mid-corner, and boy, did he hit that barrier hard. That is Sienkiewicz's race over. Right, back to the live action then at the start of lap 4, and as you can see, I've not been able to keep up with the leading duo. Brett Rees is running away with this one. He is 5 seconds clear. Meanwhile, Georgios Kurtos is running in a rather lonely 2nd position. This is all about P3 for me now. Can I make a break for it from Zubair S? Well, at the moment, I can't because he's within 1 second. Over the last couple of laps, I've not been able to make a break for it, and I'm not doing myself any favours through Les Combes here. I'll get my line all wrong. A complete mess. That has allowed S to close right in. I think it's time we turned on the TV cam just so we can keep one eye on S's on board. We can see just how close he's getting through this hairpin. And if I want this elusive podium finish, I am now going to have to fight for it, because Zubair S is on a mission. He's within 0.2 of a second, and we're now approaching the part of the track that he's far stronger than I am. He's been applying lots of pressure through this middle sector. Oh, I'm going to ride the curb on the inside into Pouon. That's not going to do me any favours. But is S close enough to capitalise? Watch him close in. I think I'm just far enough ahead to get to the apex of this right-hander first, but things getting really tight now. Still 0.2 of a second the gap. Meanwhile in front, Kurtzos is clearing off. He is 3 seconds in front of me now. So yeah, all eyes on this battle for P3. And these are the two corners I've particularly been struggling with. I know S is quicker than me through this section as we begin the charge out down the back straight towards Blanchemont. He is going to close in now, as he's done on every other lap. The difference this time, though, is that he's within striking distance, so I'm going to take a slightly tighter line. I don't want to give him any opportunity at all to try and sling it up the inside through Blanchemont, so I am holding on to the position here, approaching the chicane. Now, I'm not going to go defensive here. I want to try and hold the outside line. Oh, there's contact, though. I'm going to have to fight to get this one stopped. Oh, and then it's a block pass from S up the inside. Meanwhile, look at Andrew Glegg. Glegg getting involved as well. I've lost 2 positions through the bus stop chicane. Well, that did not go how I envisaged it. Oh, but look at S. S is going to give the position back. An incredibly generous gesture from Zubair S. He obviously thought that the overtake was a little bit too aggressive. To be honest, I was giving him the inside line. My plan was to try and stay side by side with him and have the inside line for the exit. But that did not work. Oh, there's a couple of tyres on track. Have we got a crash ahead? No, we've got a car well down on speed midway through Eau Rouge. We have to take avoiding action. Yes, way out onto the runoff area. All 3 of us managed to get past that back marker, but that was a big, big fright. There were no yellow flags to warn us, but thankfully I saw those 2 tyres on track. That gave me at least a little bit of a heads up that something had gone on ahead. So as we hit half race distance then, Andrew Glegg is now up into P3. I'm down to P4 and S is in P5. But look, that's the race leader, Brett Rees in the gravel. So that promotes Glegg up into P2 and puts me back into the podium positions. Well, what on earth went on there? Let's go back and check out the replay. Before we do, we'll see this incident at the chicane at the end of the previous lap. And there's just a little bit of contact as S makes his move. Then there's heavier contact as he slams the door firmly shut midway through the chicane. But of course, coming down the straight, he gives the position back. Meanwhile, the back marker who caused that big fright was Georgios Zagouras. Now, he crashed out of the battle for P12 on the previous lap, slamming into the barrier and losing his rear wing. But here is where things start to get a little bit sinister. Now, Zagouras had already been handed a drive-through penalty, which he served at the end of this lap. However, he didn't get repairs. Instead, he comes the wrong way out of pit lane and parks up right in the middle of the track, exiting turn 1. Now, these are normally the actions of a driver who's planning a revenge punt, but Zagouras has got no one to take revenge on. He crashed out all on his own. I watched the rest of his race. He didn't have contact with anyone else before that, but he's clearly waiting for someone here. Now, at the moment, I've got absolutely no idea who that may be, but we're about to find out, and it's going to be the race leader, Brett Rees. Watch in the background. Here comes Rees. Now, watch Zagouras. All of a sudden, he turns right into the path of the race leader as he's about to be lapped. Now, why on earth has Zagouras done this? They've not been anywhere near each other in the race so far. Zagouras qualified down in P21. Rees, of course, was on the front row. So with no obvious reason for revenge, I can only assume he simply wanted to ruin the race by taking out the leader. This is Rees. He picked up some terminal damage in that contact. He lost a wheel and then at the end of the straight loses it completely. Rees's race is over. What a disgraceful act by Georgios Zagouras. I mean, the only other reason I can think of is that maybe they had a coming together in a previous race. Maybe that was revenge for an incident that occurred in the race before this one. Who knows? Well, I feel really sorry for Rees. He had this race won. I mean, the only saving grace was that he didn't take out anyone else. The rest of us were able to avoid him through Eau Rouge and Radillon. And thankfully, there are still some good battles to be had, and I find myself in the middle of one right now. I'm still in P3. I've switched the TV cam on, not with S this time, but with Oleg Baluev in P5. He is going to have the best view in the house of the battle for P3 between myself and S. And once again, I find myself having to defend on the approach to Blanchemont. S again carrying so much more speed than I have. He really wanted that inside line, but once again, I made myself as big as I possibly could and closed off the opportunity. This time, I'm going to take no risks. I'm going to defend on the approach to the chicane. And it's done its job. In fact, it's opened up a big enough gap for Baluev to jump through. So now Baluev finds himself up into P4. And if Baluev and S start taking swings at each other, that really could play in my favour. That could give me the opportunity to make a break for it here. As it is, I'm just 0.4 of a second in front of Baluev as we hit the source. Really tight line there for me. I almost clipped my wing mirror on the wall there. Well, we're getting towards the business end of the race now, charging towards 3/4 race distance, and I'm wondering now if Baluev is my main threat for P3. He's up into 4th position. Ignore the positioning on the TV cam. He was in P5, he is now in P4, and he's breathing down my neck as we begin the charge down the Kemmel Straight. Now he's going to pick up a toe here, so I'm staying on the inside. I'm going to try and defend this right-hand corner at the end of the straight. It feels like I've been doing a lot of defending in this race, but I think it's absolutely necessary because I'm trying to fend off some really quick drivers in the hope that I may get this podium finish. At the moment, I'm still holding on to P3, but it is getting very, very tight. Once again, I'm going to defend into the hairpin. Baluev gets his nose in front, taking the wider line through this corner. We're side by side exiting the hairpin. Now he's going to have the inside line for this left-hander. I'm going to have to try and be brave here, get my elbows out, hold the outside line, keep it pinned, and I do hold on to the position. Wow, this is getting really, really close here at Spa. And now it looks like S is about to pounce. S trying to snatch that 4th position back with a move up the inside through Pouon. They banged doors as they took that corner side by side. But now we are back as you were with me in P3, S in P4 and Baluev in P5. Now S and Baluev continued the fight through this lap, and then on the next lap Baluev struck back. He got a better run down the Kemmel Straight and made his pass around the outside into Les Combes. So yeah, I'm just about keeping my head above water in P3, but now we've got Oleg Baluev back into P4 and S down to P5. Right, returning to the live action on lap 8. We've now got less than 3 minutes on the clock. We're going to have this lap and one more after it. I'm holding on to P3, but it is getting very, very close. Watch Baluev in the rearview mirror or on the TV cam. He's reeling me in down the Kemmel Straight. Now I'm going to defend and hold the inside line, but we've already seen Baluev make a pass around the outside, and he's done it again. He's got around the outside and he has snatched that 3rd position. Yeah, that is a real blow for my hopes of a podium. I'd held on to that 3rd place for so long during this race. Have I just seen it slip away with a lap and a half to go? Or can I do something about it? Can I fight back? Can I snatch the 3rd position back from Baluev? Well, we're going to find out over the next lap and a half. Oh, and it just feels like I'm starting to get a little bit ragged. I'm losing ground on Baluev already, and in fact now I've got another rival closing in. It's Kebs Estra. Now Estra is one of the drivers who started from the pits, having originally qualified in P3, so I know he's quick and he has fought his way back through the pack. He's now in P5 and he is hunting me down. The gap just 0.2 of a second now. Oh, he's going to have a look up the inside. There's not really room. He tries to make room over the curb. Well, I'm having to drive really carefully here to make sure there's no contact. But yeah, I'm under real pressure now from Estra. Here's another sniff up the inside. Once again, there's almost contact. That frightens me this time. It puts me out a little wider than I would have liked, but I'm just about managing to hold on at the moment. However, I do feel like I may come under another attack. So once again, I'm going to defend on the approach to Blanchemont. I don't want him sticking his nose up the inside, but he's going to anyway. He's half on the grass as he makes that move. So I've got no choice but to move over and give him a bit of space. And I am going to lose the position. I get pushed out into the runoff area. Oh, the gloves are off now at Spa with a lap to go. I move back out to the racing line, and now that's left a gap up the inside for George Booman. Out of nowhere, Booman appears to take the position as well, so I am heading backwards here. Well, this race is the exact opposite of the earlier one. I was beaten up in the early stages first time out, but this time I am being beaten up in the closing stages. Oh, look, there's S having a sniff up the inside into La Source. If I'm not careful, I could go down another position. I could find myself down in 7th. So much for my podium hopes. I was in P3 a couple of laps ago, and now I am struggling to hold on to the top 6. These guys have found real late race pace, and I've not been able to match it. The yellow flags are out. I can't see anything further ahead. I can't see anything behind either. I don't know what that was about. I've also been given a track cut warning there. I'm not going to worry about that at this stage. Look at this battle in front. I've got to stay within touching distance here. This could yet end in tears, the battle between Booman and Estra. So it's absolutely essential that I keep myself within striking distance just in case anything does go wrong. I mean, I've completely given up hope on the podium now because Baliev is 3 seconds clear in P3, but you never know. I could still get fourth here. It's within 1 second at the moment. However, I've got two very fast McLarens in front of me. I think it's going to take a mistake from one or both of them to give me that P4 back. Well, yeah, I think on outright pace at this stage of the race, I just haven't got it. These two guys in front are visibly quicker than I am as we come through Pouhon for the last time. The gap beginning to stretch now. It's 0.6 of a second to Boom and 1 second to Estra. I'm beginning to lose ground. And I may need to start looking over my shoulder because Zubair S is closing in again. 0.5 of a second now. He's closer than he's been in a few laps. I've switched the TV cam back on. We've got half a lap to go. We need to keep one eye on S as he gets closer and closer. Can I hold on to this top six now? Well, I'm not doing myself any favours. I got my line all wrong through these two right-handers. I've been struggling with it all afternoon. And look how close S is now. He's challenged me several times along this straight. So once again, I'm going to have to defend. S isn't going to give it up this time though. He is going to challenge me to go too wide. Oh, I almost lose it on the race curb on the inside. That was a fright. And somehow I'm still in front of S, but we have got the chicane to come. Now it's a 50-50 gamble here. Do I defend? Do I keep to the racing line? I'm going to defend. S is going to take it around the outside. He's got himself alongside. He's going to have the inside line. Exiting the corner and just get squeezed out of room. And I think S is going to win the drag race to the line. S is going to take P6 just... Oh, race finishes don't often come any more dramatic than that. This was the moment that I decided to defend into the bus stop chicane for the final time. S goes wide. Now, it's absolutely vital for him that he gets alongside me and holds himself alongside me so I can't get to the apex coming out of the chicane. That's exactly what he does. I get squeezed out to the runoff area and I can't get on the gas quick enough to challenge. What a finish. Yeah, what a finish indeed. I've got no complaints at all about finishing down in P7 in this one because the battles were just insanely good. And my fastest lap in this one, a 2:22.8, so a lot slower than the first race, but that's probably due to the fact that I was forced into doing so much defending in this one. And boy, do I need a rest now. This felt like one long, non-stop fight from the green lights to the checkered flag. And of course, the only blot on an otherwise excellent afternoon of racing was the behaviour of Georgios Zagouris. I'm going to be reporting him. I'm sure the race leader at the time, Brett Rees, will be reporting him as well. I suspect he might be facing a long ban. And finally, I really appreciate you guys for sticking with me to the end of this one. I know it's a longer race video than usual, but I hope you've enjoyed watching it. I look forward to seeing you again soon. Wherever you're racing this week, make sure it's a good one. Cheers for now.